So you guys know from my most recent video in Sweden that I am obsessed with these cardamom cinnamon rolls that they make there. And of course, I personally am a cardamom girl, so this is an amazing recipe to try. And it's so fun to make as well because you end up with these really pretty twisted little buns. So I hope you all enjoy. So dough first, and I am adapting the recipe from a blog called Fix Feast Flair. So I'll put their link down below, but this is just a basic dough. You have some all-purpose flour. I have some instant yeast so that I don't have to activate anything beforehand, some brown sugar, some ground up cardamom, and a little bit of salt. So get all the dries mixed up nice and good before adding in about 1 cup of warmed oat milk. And make sure it's not too hot or else that's gonna kill the yeast. But I like oat milk because it's a little bit sweet and it's very Nordic as well. And you'll see that I reserved about a tablespoon or so of milk. And that's just in case if I measured a little bit incorrectly or if my environment is a little bit different. Sometimes you need more liquid, sometimes you need less. So on medium speed, get this dough mixed together until it's kind of loosely together like this. And then you want to add in your vegan butter. So it will look like the dough is coming apart after you add the butter, but it gets worse before it gets better. So afterwards, you want to knead the dough on medium to medium high speed for about 5 minutes until it gets to a smoother ball of dough. Because this dough is pretty soft, it will never get kind of perfectly round. You want to just get it into a ball shape, cover it, stick it in a warm place, and then let that rise for about an hour. Now, while the dough is resting, you want to make this really simple cardamom filling, and that is 4.5 tablespoons of your vegan butter. You have a little bit of dark brown sugar, as well as 1.5 teaspoons of ground cardamom. Super easy. If you like cinnamon, you can put cinnamon in instead, and just get all of that mixed together. So as with any dough that has just finished rising, you want to give it a little bit of a knead just to wake everything up, redistribute the yeast again. And I kind of kneaded it into a rectangle first because that is the shape that I want. And you're going for a rectangle that's roughly 21 inches by 14 inches. And you do want to make sure that it's a rectangle because you'll see that we're gonna fold in layers later. And so corners that are not too sharp get tricky because there's not enough dough there. So on the longer side of the rectangle, you want to divide it up into 3. And you can see that I'm stretching out the edges and the corners right now because what we're going to do is divide this up into 8 equal strands. And if you want to make smaller ones, you can divide them up further, but each one should be whatever 14 divided by 8 is. So I watched a ton of videos on Swedish cinnamon and cardamom rolls, and the ones that turn out the prettiest are the ones where you divide them into 2 strands and then twist them up first. Now you want to leave a good inch up at the top because that's where you'll be gripping it, and I actually don't think that I left a big enough space there because sometimes it will tear. So here's the technique, and you guys might want to watch it over again, but just stretch it out ever so slightly. The dough should be relaxed enough, and then you're just gonna twist and twirl. And I find that because these rolls have a tendency of unwinding, I twist a little bit more, and you just want to go around your finger about, I'd say 1.5 times. And when you start running out of dough, just move that dough right across the cinnamon roll down the center and then tuck it in on the bottom. That is the easiest way that I can explain it because kind of nobody else does. So check it out again. Now you just want to stick a kitchen towel on top of these and let it rise for 30 more minutes before putting it into a preheated 400-degree oven. And I'd say 20 to 25 minutes until they get a nice kind of rich brown color. Now, I melted a little bit of date syrup, but you can use whatever syrup that you want. And I'm just brushing them so that they get nice and shiny and sticky enough so that the pearl sugar will stick on it. And usually for non-vegan recipes, you'll do an egg wash before you bake, but I just skip that and this will be equally as shiny. How ridiculously pretty are those rolls, right? So I actually thought that they would be really sweet because of the sugar in the dough and also the filling, but it doesn't taste that sweet at all. And for those of you that like to nibble, this one's a really fun one because you can peel the strands off a little bit at a time and it's just so good. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this dessert recipe. And as with any dessert recipes, there are, fats, there are sugars. So it's something that you shouldn't make all that often. It's necessary to say that because on Instagram there are these really pretty pictures of cakes and pancakes and waffles and whatnot, and those are things that you should be eating, sporadically. As usual, if you want to see more recipes like this, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys all again next time. Bye!